G'day, and welcome to the next module where we're going to be talking about your standard operating procedures. Now, I'm covering this because it is pertinent if you want to be running an efficient QS consultancy practice. However, here's the deal from my perspective. In your first 12 months, you need to be making a conscious effort to be building your SOPs, and you do that based on how you're building your business. You don't write your SOPs right at the beginning because you're not going to have all the information, all the intel, all the experience as to what's going on. Now, primary objective of all of this is to document your procedures, your processes, so that you get uniform performing them, and you become efficient at performing them. And more importantly, when you bring staff on board, they have a set guideline of processes to follow. So this can be done physically by just creating a Word document or a Google document and just building it as you go. Or there are softwares available that you can use to build your SOPs online, and then give access to all your future employees and access obviously to you, because you want to be following this as well. Even though you've written it, you want a point of reference in the future. So I'm going to be going through. So the importance really of it is streamlining, its consistency, and it's also setting the bar externally for people to see that you are taking your business seriously when you are having consistent responses and processes that can be seen externally, and that will assimilate with professionalism. So it also provides really the key focus of the business. So it documents where your key focuses are. So it's a really important document, and as I say, you need to get into the habit, as with a lot of other things when you're building your business, to do this regularly and build it as you go. And the aim is within 6 to 12 months, certainly before you employ people, that you have at least a draft SOP in play. It's always a live document, which means that you can update it at any time you wish. I suggest that you don't keep doing it too regularly when you've got staff on board, because it can create confusion. But being a live document and getting people to understand it's a live document, and when you employ, ask for contributions as well. Don't be a dictatorial employer by your way is the only way. Take on board constructive criticism if it's relevant, and it helps to build the business. So SOP sections can also be for client acquisition. We've spoken about marketing, but you can also document that as a process, as a procedure, how you identify your target clients, how you reach out, and the protocols for reaching out through various channels, standard scripts, how you prepare and you deliver your pitches, and how you track and manage your leads. I've spoken earlier about the need, in my opinion, for you to get your head around a CRM software, or at very least an Excel spreadsheet, so that you can track and manage the leads. Without that, it's really, really difficult, and it's counterproductive, and you're going to find a lot of inefficiency in the process, and SOPs remove or seriously reduce those inconsistencies. So important for you to get into the habit of doing it. It's also used for proposal development, again, understanding client needs, developing tailored proposals. So when you've got all this in place, you can have probably a standard proposal template, pricing and resource allocation, risk assessment and management. You standardize all of these as much as possible, and then you bespoke them according to the submission or proposal that you are going to make. But this is all documented in your SOPs, and it may be that particularly with proposals, you end up with different varieties for different tasks. For example, you would have a proposal specifically if you were doing expert witness work. You would have a proposal if you were specifically doing X, Y, Z. You may end up with a handful of different proposals, but it's essential that you document each and every variety rather than having to reinvent the wheel on every proposal, because that is really hard work, and the whole point of an SOP is it's going to over time make your life so much easier by driving the consistency. Now when you get into projects, or even even if they're big, even if they're small, get into the habit, kickoff and planning, client onboarding and communications, defining the project scope, the objectives, the deliverables, assembling the project team, creating a detailed project plan per task that you are going to undertake. If you know all of this, it makes it easier for everyone else to understand it as well. Again, there are softwares that can help you creating all of this, and as you grow, you will likely be wanting to investigate and implement softwares because it drives further efficiencies as well. Project execution, how you manage the tasks and deadlines, your individual processes, your monitoring progress and performance, your regular client communications, and adapting to changes and addressing issues. So that's at a very high level. You'll drill down even further. You can have processes like on concept stage estimating, preliminary design, detailed design. If you're doing schedules or BQs or whatever service attaches to what your offering is, you need to generate SOPs for that project execution phase. Quality control. This is an important. I'm not advocating at this point that you go and spend money on getting a quality assurance stamp that you're certified or whatever the regulatory requirements are. These are normally not mandatory. They are just nice to haves for some companies to get them, but I'm not necessarily advocating that, but I am suggesting that you need to have as much documentation for quality control as possible, because it also relates back to branding and how people see you. The more mistakes that go out the door, the lowering of your brand is definitely correlated to that. So make sure you implement the measures, make sure that you undertake regular project reviews. Now, it's a bit difficult as a single person consultant to do this sometimes, and in the early stages, it's not going to be possible because you're not going to go to a competitor and say, can you check my work or anything like that. But sometimes, in my experience, what I've done when I didn't have employees that can look at things for you, I just used to put it to one side and then pick it up a few hours later or the following day and go through it again, and that's when it looked different from the time that I had entrenched into it. So also identify areas for improvement. If you've done something that is, you've written an SOP, you've done something, and then you find something needs to be improved, just adjust the process, adjust the documents, and next time round, those improvements are already self-incorporated. And you're making sure that your deliverables are met with client expectation or aligned with client expectations. You may even wish to add, as part of your SOPs, we have it in my business, processes for feedback and that type of thing as well. Project closures and evaluations, you need processes around delivering your final outputs, conducting post-project evaluations. This is the feedback as well, getting that feedback, that's essential. Identifying lessons learned and best practices, and then incorporating if there is any relevance. You may also wish to add with the feedback, I always think it's nice to try and encourage your clients to get testimonials of some sort that you can use as social proof, either on your website or proposal or marketing information, it always carries a lot more weight. You know, your LinkedIn profile, that type of thing, it carries a lot more weight and builds trust more easily when people can see that you've actually achieved results for others. Continuous improvement, SOPs, so analyzing the performance metrics, identifying your areas for improvement, updating SOPs and training materials as you go, and encourage, as you grow your team, encourage a culture of learning and development. This is crucial if you want to attract and retain top talent in the industry. Really promote this culture, and not a dictatorial one or a toxic one, because that is really going to hurt your business long term. Okay, documenting and maintaining the SOPs, create an SOP repository, so, you know, index it essentially, have people understand what's included, lets you understand what's included, and keep them up to date, regularly reviewing and refining SOPs, not like literally every 24 hours. You know, once a month, once every 2 months is fine. Or as you see, I find it the most productive, as you see something that isn't quite working and you want to modify it, you change it. And what I did, what I do within, you know, my consultancy practice is that I have a regular email that goes out once a week, just giving people updates on where we are on certain things, and that includes any changes to the SOPs so that they are aware and they have that email as a point of reference that they can easily come back to, so that the next time they're working on a particular thing, they can reference it and know that the SOPs are amended. They will generally go in, everything that I have is online, they will go in and they will automatically see all of the revisions in the system anyway. So that way we're, you know, making sure that it's a foolproof method, and that every time someone is going to use a particular SOP, it is completely up to date for them. And if we need to do training, if there is significant changes, we do training as well. And generally that training is video content, and it is delivered by email so that people can read it and watch it in their own time. Work time, that is, not their own personal time. Ensuring easy access for team members as well. So I've just really spoken about that. That's why I sort of identified online as being a real preference, but it comes with a cost. So, you know, think about that only once you've started to build momentum in your business and you're making money and you're bringing people on board. It's not essential if you're just working for yourself, because you know where everything is, and you know, it's not as essential for other people to get that information if it's just you. So that's the end of that particular one. We'll drive back to the beginning. I went through it fairly quickly, I do accept, but you know, I wanted to give you that high level overview because this is not something that you need to have in place on day one. Let me just do that so it's not as toxic on the eyes. This is not something that you have to have in place from day one, but I really want to drive home the importance of you building it from day one. And every time that you are thinking about something that you're doing, and as you grow the business, you're going to be coming across things that you're going to be doing based off your previous experience, but then you think about how you want to apply that to your business and how you want to create that standardization, because I guarantee you as you grow, you're really going to want to come back and replicate what you've done rather than having to think about it each and every time, because, you know, again, I can't highlight enough its efficiency. And the more efficient you are, the better quality documents that you can deliver, and more importantly, the quicker you can deliver them without compromising the quality. That translates to being able to earn more money as well, which is really what you should be focusing on. Okay, so with all that said, I'm going to wrap it now for SOPs, and we will see you in the next module. Take care.